Jay-Z, half Jamaican. Biggie, Jamaican. Like, yeah, we were born here and we got American influence, but I'm not from the South. I'm from New York. So New York is Caribbean. Right.
You were from the church. I found out your father and Wycliffe's father are preachers.
My father was a deacon. Wycliffe's father was a preacher, yes. Trumpet playing he was doing. But I don't know how you got on that stage to play it, right? And you're like, yo, I need to fuck with you, boy. And that's how we became friends. Reggae type of vibe where he'd be like, John Malman called me something like cool. But nobody knew what it was back then because dancehall was just coming up. Yeah. It just sounded sexy. Usacha, separate the weak. And every bar, everybody's going crazy like, what? No! Yo! What? Oh shit! There's a dude just appeared. Doing a song right now with Don Omar. I'm probably eating the Queen, Yango Flow.
I did a song with Yango Flow?
Yo, B, I reckon it's fucking amazing, bro. It's crazy. You know, Jordy coming.
Oh,
Jordy going? Like right here, you in Puerto Rico, right? Like some people in the government don't really understand the struggle of what's going on in these streets. They can't comprehend it. It doesn't make sense to them. It's like because they're so far up.
Hablando de skills. Aquí en Base y Fundamento te voy a decir lo que tú mereces. Okay. We have a legend.
¿Está hablando en inglés?
Yeah.
Pero ¿por qué inglés?
Yes, because we have a legend in the building.
No, cada vez que este tipo habla en inglés, es que lo que viene no está fácil.
Yeah. We have a legend in backstage studio.
Hip hop royalty.
What?
We have
royalty.
An icon, and living legend, and fucking icon.
Mikey backstage. Double Diamond.
Wow, double.
One of the best hip hop albums ever. There's like Illmatic, and there's this thing here. Today we got one of the members of the Fugees, Pras Samuel Mitchell, the son of a preacher man.
Yes, sir.
New York, Newark, hip hop royalty, and one of my heroes. From one of the best groups, one of the best shows in hip hop ever. And we in Base Fundamento are proud to have you here. Again, our applause for him.
Pras in the building.
Thank you,
Welcome.
thank you. Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know how to start this conversation. I don't know how to start this interview. This is Base Fundamento. All five in this set are we love history. That's why we're going to talk about history today.
Yeah.
Okay. You are from Jersey, right?
Well, born in Brooklyn.
But your hip hop and your music career started in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
How hard was it being from Jersey? Normally rappers were from the Bronx, Brooklyn, Philadelphia. How hard was being from Jersey and getting on the scene?
Yeah, back then it was very difficult because it's not like what it is today where you can just independently do anything you want, right? Back then, you know, it was only like a couple major record companies and you had to be Michael Jackson, George Michael, Whitney Houston. And if you was hip hop, it was obviously Run DMC. From Jersey, we had Naughty by Nature that was blowing up. Redman started to take off. I knew Latifah because I knew her manager. Her manager to this day, this guy named Shakim, Haitian guy. So we kind of like all grew up in the same neighborhood. And you have Bruce Springsteen, obviously, rock and roll guy. So when we came on, it was very difficult because we were weird to what hip hop was considered at that time. Because it was like singing, it was you know, instruments, it was Caribbean, Latin influence. it was a fusion, and then you had obviously Lauryn Hill being, you know, Motown, soulful, and you got these guys. People didn't know how to accept us because it was just a different thing.
And you were really different because, first of all, you were from the church. I found out your father and Wycliffe's father are preachers.
My father was a deacon. Wycliffe's father was a preacher. Yes.
And you were Haitian.
Yeah.
And there are not that many Haitians in the hip hop in that time.
Right.
Okay, you were like the first ones.
Pretty much, yeah.
How hard
Before the
was being a
Zoes.
Haitian in the hood trying to do music in the business those years?
Yeah, again, it was hard, but it was only hard because of the climate and the culture, right? But for some reason, man, somehow, through the grace of God, man, we got in, man. You know, and I was the guy in the group that was more like from the streets. I was hustling, you know, I was helping, like, it's so funny, I shouldn't be saying this, but when I was in church, I was working for this guy, and what he used to do is help immigrants get papers.
Okay.
Haitians, Dominicans. So if you wanted to get, it was easier back then. Today, because of TSA and Homeland Security, you can't do it today. But back then, you needed a driver license. He was the guy, and I was working for him.
That's the hookup right there.
That's the hack.
You had people know you from this album. People know you from Score.
Right.
But they don't know about this thing over here.
No.
Translator Crew.
Right.
When you started, you didn't start fast. People think that you went from 0 to 100.
No.
But you had to fight your way up.
Yeah.
I want you to tell stories because when you started, you didn't have those hits. And you had one of the greatest live shows ever. First of all, how did you go to create that great live show? And how many times you got in trouble for doing the things you did in live with other artists?
Well, when we grew up, so when I was growing up, I met Wyclef when I was a kid in the church. So, you know, I came from my mother came from one of the biggest gospel choirs in the church. And Wyclef was super talented. He played guitar and everything. He was from a different church. And one of the main lead singers of the gospel my mom sung with, Wyclef was a big fan of that person. He was like our Bob Marley in Haiti, I guess, right? Okay. And so one day, and I don't know what I was doing in my life at the time, but I was like the hustler, right? So one day, they had the battle of all the gospel Haitian church in the tri-state area. So that's New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And so my mom, gospel band was in the competition, and I was playing the trumpet, right? And so Wyclef band was also competing. And so Wyclef saw me, we were kids, I must have been like 13, 12 years old. Wyclef saw me playing the trumpet, and then I got on my knees, and then I went to the back of the church where all the kids were at, you know, because we didn't want to sit in the church, whatever. And Wyclef came to me, and he goes, yo, you the illest, because that was some horrible trumpet playing you was doing. But I don't know how you got on that stage to play it, right? And he's like, yo, I need to fuck with you, boy. And that's how we became friends.
Okay.
Cause you were so bad.
I was so bad. He was like, yo, you the illest hustle, B. Like,
Right.
your hustling is crazy. Because he couldn't understand how I'm playing with this iconic gospel band.
Right.
He was like, yo, how you doing that? You can't even play.
So his hustling, he got it from you.
Yeah, so then he had his own little rap group.
Okay.
And then I got inspired by him because I was younger than him. He's 3 years older than me. I'm 11, 12, and Wyclef is like 15, 16. I'm not in high school yet.
Right.
I'm in the 8th grade. But we became best friends. So then I saw him doing hip hop. I saw him battling like in the whole East Orange, New Jersey area, like battling Redman, Tretch, before they became big.
And they're insane.
They're insane. But
They're
this is we used to have like what they call competition, like little like competition, little rap groups and things like that. But Wyclef had this crazy style. He had that reggae type of vibe where he'd be like John Malcolm Coleman, something like cool. But nobody knew what it was back then because dancehall was just coming up.
Yeah,
it just sounded sexy. And so he started rapping. He was dope at battling, and then he goes into that. People will love it. And I was like, yo, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Anyway, make a long story short, he had his own group. Then when I got into high school, I went to a high school in the hood, down the street from Redman's High School in Newark. But the high school was really bad, so my mom took me out of there and made me go live in the suburbs with my uncle. So I went to this school called Columbia, and I started a group there, me and 2 girls. And Lauryn Hill was one of the girls, right?
Okay.
And so then, make a long story short, I met this guy named Khalis Bayon from Kool and the Gang, right?
I was about to ask you that.
Yeah.
What have to do Kool and the Gang with the real formation of the Fugees?
So what happened was, when I went to the high school in the suburbs, there wasn't that many black kids there. So I came from the hood, but I was kind of like a little bit refined. Even though I came from the hood, but I wasn't a hood dude.
Right.
So everybody, all the black kids were a little bit fearful because they were like, oh, he's from the hood. So I was getting kind of like respect for like just coming from the hood because I wasn't a suburban kid, right?
Right.
So anyway, there was this girl that was in love with me who was the daughter of Khalis. And she was dating the captain of the football team. I wasn't into her. And one day she comes to me, she says, I'm going to introduce you to my father. I haven't even done that for my own boyfriend who's a rapper. She says, but he's going to change your life. I was looking at her like, what? Anyway, I met the dad. So it was me, Lauryn Hill. She was in the 8th grade at the time because she's 3 years younger than me.
That's before 6 track and everything.
That's before everything.
Okay.
Okay. And so one day, Wyclef gave me one of his songs that he wasn't going to use because he broke away from his band. He's going solo now on his own.
Okay.
And so me, the guy from the Kool and Gang, and these 2 girls, we're trying to put the song together. Wyclef comes in to help put the song together. And me and Clef performed before in the church, and we did a couple talent shows. That's what it's called, talent shows. And the guy looked at us. He was like, yo, this is the group. You and the 2. So it was me, Wyclef, Lauren, and this other girl named Marcy.
Marcy.
If you think Lauryn Hill's incredible,
Marcy is better than the Lawrence.
He sang her heart out.
And
Marcy was Prince meets Mariah Carey.
what?
Coach.
She
Prince?
played 12 instruments, harp, guitar, bass, flute, and she sung like Mariah Carey that high and sung like Prince that low.
So
What?
do you think that, because what you're saying is very serious, do you think that she might be, if she was on the game, she might be the ultimate hip hop soul artist, even over Diana Ross and Aretha Franklin?
If Marcy, now clearly Marcy is not greater than Lauryn Hill. Clearly that. I'm talking about had we all started at the same time.
Yes.
Right. In terms of talent.
Right, and then we all evolve at the same time, which she would have killed everything moving,
Wow.
period.
And what happened?
So what happened is, in high school, she wanted us, because we were pursuing to get a record deal. Back then, you had to get a record deal.
Of course.
Today, you ain't got to do any of that. So she was like, I got to get a record deal before we graduate, or else I got to go to college.
Okay.
I didn't get it before we graduated.
Okay.
But she went to college for music, which was weird. Like,
She already was music.
yeah,
Right.
you know, but she wanted to go. Like, I went to college too, but I dropped out once
Everything
this
started
to take
right.
off, right? So anyway, so she missed out. But Marcy,
Wow.
1990.
because she introduced me to Lauryn Hill.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, we were in the same grade because I met her in a dance class.
Okay.
Because I went to the suburbs, right? So this school, it wasn't like the hood. In the hood, we only had 3 sports: football, basketball,
And fighting.
and track. No, not fighting, and track. But I wasn't athletic at all. I didn't like playing sports because I didn't like people bumping into me. I didn't like sweating. I was one of those cool dudes back then. I was a dancer, hip hop. You know, I was really hip hop, right? So now I'm in this suburban school, and they're saying they have like 40 different sports you can pick from: lacrosse, water polo.
What the fuck is lacrosse?
You know, right. I was like, what? So weightlifting, all of that. So they were like, and one of them was dancing.
Right.
I said, dance class? She said, yeah. She said, oh, no, you're not going to like that. There's only women in there, and most guys don't like it. I said, no, this is
it.
This is it for me.
There's,
yo.
there's a lot of women over there.
of women,
I have to go.
And I like the dance part.
Learn to do something.
Yo, this
Cha-cha
is it right
carousel.
here. Sign me up. I need it. Oh, no. You know what? Here's what happened. It's crazy. So here's what happened. First, I was like, let me go do basketball.
Okay.
So I go to first day of the basketball class, and the coach had us lined up. Right? And I didn't know this. It wasn't my fault. So, and I was one of the shortest one because I was one of 6 feet. So he wanted everybody to run down the court because he wanted to see like your athleticism, whatever. Mm-hmm. So he threw the ball at me. He said, run down the court. And I ran down the court. And the dude started going crazy because he used to be in the military. He started yelling and going crazy. He says, don't ever step foot in my court. If you do, I will have you flunk and kicked out of school. And I was like, yo, why are you so angry? You told me to run down the court. And I didn't understand it. And one of the kids was like, you were supposed to dribble the ball.
Translator Crew came out 1994. I used to live in the Bronx at that moment. I was a witness when that single came out, Nappy Heads, with the remix from Salam Remy.
Yeah.
How you guys survived specifically 1994 with too many albums like Illmatic from Nas, Hard to Earn from Gangstar, Jeru the Damager, KRS-One, Curious George, Wu-Tang Clan,
Ice Cube,
Snoops. How did you survive 1994 with that album, which wasn't a biggest impact, but actually you took advantage of all those great rappers at that moment, and you did something to stand out.
This is NBA league. This is MLB league.
Yeah, I know. This is yeah. This is Jordan era. Well, basically, there's two things that we had going for ourselves. Three, I would say. One is we had a lethal showmanship. Our show was great because we had the live band at the time, right? Two, we had Lauryn Hill. She was a nuclear force. I can't even lie to you. And, you know, three, we were very creative. Now, the record company didn't know what to do with us. So they were like, we was this close from getting dropped. But we met Salam, one of our product manager. He loved us, but he was like, yo, you guys ain't got no hits, man. You need hits. Cypress Hill. So he said, I'm going to bring you guys to a producer and see if he can fix you. Because Salam was producing everybody at that time.
Yes.
Right? And Salam liked us, and he did the remix to the original Nappy Heads, which is this one right here that you saw, the Mona Lisa version. And Funkmaster Flex started to play it because Salam knew Flex, and it just caught on, man, and that saved us. And then the record company was like, man, if you guys can figure out your show and put it into the next album, then you got something. And then we went to work. The first record we recorded on the score was Fujila. Fat Joe passed on the beat.
What?
So we took the beat, yeah.
Fat Joe passed
That was
on the
Fat Joe's
Fujila beat.
Yeah, that was his beat. He tell you the story all the time. He tell you the story all the time.
Okay, before going to the score, because we got to talk to us about the score. When you do that show, you got in a lot of messes with different people. What happened with Biggie and Puffy, and what happened with KRS-One?
So what we used to do in our show is, because we didn't have a hit, we would take the hottest record that we liked and we would remix it ourselves live. But what happened is back then,
But you got with big dudes and people
Yeah.
that were
That's when it comes
Insane.
the hustle part.
yeah, the other one, we was like, yo, and back then what happened is, because they used to put artists together, different labels, because hip hop wasn't that big where you can now do anything on your own.
Right.
So they package us together. So they figure, oh, Fugees interesting, Nas, and let's put Biggie. Or Ice Cube, Fugees. I did like 4 or 5 shows with Biggie, God bless his soul. And every time, man, I used to get in beef with Puff, because Puff was like, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing? So we'll go on, hey, it was all a dream. Fugees and the Puff be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? That's what we used to do, man. We got in trouble with Puff. We got in trouble with KRS-One over that. And then, you know, the great thing is once we did Fugees, obviously, you know, I never forget that, man, when it went gold, man. It was just like, now we could do our own record, you know. It was good.
But you fought with BDP.
Yeah, we got into a fight on stage.
On stage?
Yeah, because Kenny Parker, so we on stage performing and we come on. The way our show was, Clef would come on first and introduce the crowd. He got this band and he's doing dropping hot records, just playing it, but he's playing with his guitar along with the songs, right? Okay. And then he introduced us. So like Lauren would come on and then I come on last. And so once I come on, the show starts. But we only got one record. That's the Mona Lisa record. So we saving that for the end.
Right.
But we still got to do a 30-minute show, right? Of course. So then what we did was, dun, 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 dun,
The bridge is over.
The bridge is over. 1, 2, 3. The crew is called Refugee. And now Lauren is doing that. And I'm standing there and I see Kitty go, yo, you see this shit?
Yeah, because that was KRS-One.
That's KRS-One's biggest record, obviously. So Kenny comes on stage. He bring his crew. Now, if you've seen this video in the background, my drummer's in this video. The guy playing the drum, his name was Johnny Watt. He's big. And he's from the hood. So they love this. They're ready to get into fight now. So Johnny gets off the drums, you know, and the road manager, Hassan, coming on, Kenny's coming on, and we kind of like bumped into each other. Like, it wasn't no real fist storm, but it was about to go there, and then KRS-One came on and stopped it. He's like, listen.
Stop the violence.
He said, yo, I love the Fugees. He was saying that on the mic. He says, if they want to use my record paying homage, let them. He said, DJ, drop the record. And he did. The crowd went crazy.
KRS-One was famous for dropping niggas off stage.
Yeah.
He's really famous. He went to a PM Don's show because PM Don dissed him.
Yep.
He went to his concert, threw him off the stage, and then rocked for a half an hour.
Yeah.
So, KRS-One going on stage to your show is really, in those years, it was, you had a problem.
Real pressure.
No, but I think you have to tell us like how the name of Fugees came to the game, because you're telling me like you already was in that point of your life, of your career, Fugees, but how do you guys like set up that?
So when we came together, we was trying to come up with a name. And so basically, we was coming up with a bunch of names. And I said refugees. And the reason I said refugees is because I remember growing up in New York, New Jersey, where if you were Haitian, it was bad back then. You know, Haitians had it bad, you know. Now, everybody knew I was Haitian, but I wasn't considered Haitian because I was born in New York.
Okay.
And so I would always wear, you know, I had the fly gears, the latest fashion, because even though I was Haitian, whatever, but, you know, I was American. So the kids didn't really fuck with me. Plus, I was doing talent shows. So I was somewhat popular, right? But the other Haitian kids couldn't go to school at 2-3 months at a time because they were beating up the Haitian, telling them go back, banana boats, whatever. So when we came up with the name Refugees, then we was like, well, refugees sound a little bit too limited. So we took the R-E out, and that's how we became the Fugees. And the reason it says translated crew in the very beginning, because the first record, remember I told you Wyclef gave me a record? It was a record that he would rap in different languages. Spanish was one of them. And so we call ourselves the translated crew because of that. We never put the record out, and then we just dropped the translated crew, kept the Fugees.
But you made songs in different languages too. In Wyclef's record, he had songs in his native language. He had songs in Spanish. He had songs in Celia Cruz. You always done that. I'm going to ask you one thing. What happened with Enya?
Well, what happened with Enya is we sample. Everybody know the record. They don't know Enya, but they know the song, Ready or Not. That's the Enya sample. So Clef is the one that produced that record. And I remember one time Clef come to me like, yo, what we need to do, we got to clear it, right? But we knew she was, because Enya lived in, I think she lived in Iceland or Ireland somewhere. Very secluded, isolated. And we knew she didn't want to clear the record. So we just say, yo, if the album doesn't blow up, then it doesn't matter. She's not going to hear it.
Right.
If the album blow up, then yeah, maybe she's still not going to hear it. The record went #1 in Ireland, bro.
Oh wow.
He went #1 everywhere.
Everywhere, basically, but Ireland in particular.
Right.
So obviously, Warner Brothers Publishing came after us, and we paid a sample with it. A lot of money. It cost us $5 million
$5 million.
For a
that
sample.
for a sample. Yeah.
That's the way it is. You have to pay your dues sometimes. But I want to go back to 1994. Predator, let's keep it 1994. 1994 is the year. It's the year of hip hop.
94.
Forget about Kenya and $5 million. Forget about that. That is important, but not more important than this. What happened in Quad Studios, New York City, 1994, when you pick up Tupac Shakur?
Oof.
Ooh. Wow. How you know about that?
I
Because
told
you're
you.
fundamental.
I told you at the beginning. I am a hip hop historian, like from the Ghetto Brothers, Black Space, Seven Immortals, all the way
What's
to.
up with that, man? What's up with
So, look, Pac and I were, I would say, relatively cool friends, right? So I used to hang out with him, whatever. But obviously, it's weird that I would hang out with him because technically I'm a Fugees.
I read Fuji.
And this is Pac, like, gangster, right? But
Right.
we were cool. We met in L.A. at this Jamaican restaurant at the time called Cooley. And I think he was dating either Rashida Jones, Quincy Jones' daughter, or Jada. I think I met him with Jada. I don't remember, but it was one of those girls, right? And we just became cool. And so growing up also, I was cool with some of these gangsters, particularly these Haitian gangsters. One of them being Jimmy Henchman, and another one being Haitian Jack, right? So I didn't know they met Pac before me, okay? And so there were things that was happening that I didn't know about. But that day, when I was with Pac, before he was going to Quad, he was going to Quad to go record a record for one of Jimmy Henchman's artists.
Okay.
And we didn't have phones back then. We had beepers.
Pagers.
Pagers. And so Wyclef paged me, said, yo, we got to go to the studio because Mario Van Peebles was doing this movie called Black Panther.
Yeah, I remember.
And they wanted the Fugees. He was a Fuji fan, even though we didn't have no hit record. So they were like, yo, do a song for the soundtrack. I get also a page from Jimmy Henchman where he said, if you were old dude, don't come to the studio. I didn't know what that meant, but I wasn't able to go to the studio anyway because I had to go to Jersey.
Gotta work, yeah.
Right. And that's when the whole incident happened in the studio with Pac, shot 5 times, all that whole.
How was the vibe like? Because that's I mean I don't try to sound like a stupid question, but how was the vibe like? Did you feel tension during the day? You think that something's gonna happen?
I wasn't thinking about it like that because the danger were the people that I was around. You know, so you don't think about it. You don't realize it till afterwards. You're like, wow. Because I was with Tupac also. That I'll never forget it. It was that Wednesday at Radio City Hall.
Okay.
Before he got shot and killed, unfortunately, that Saturday in Vegas. Because he had asked me to go to Vegas with him. Right? But I wasn't into boxing. I was like, this is 96. I was like, I don't want to, So, but I was with him at Radio City Hall because he got into a little tussle with Mobb Deep and Nas because I performed with Nas that year. If I Rule the World. Right?
That's true.
So it was a little kind of like beef, we try to separate the beef a little. Then me and Hammer got into a little something. Then Suge Knight came in and Pac broke it up. So it was a lot going on that day.
That's why
Listen, let me tell you something about Hammer, yo. I know y'all know him as
dancer and all that.
Put out your pants.
I mean, he ain't nothing to play with, bro. That boy is for real with it.
I heard story that Hammer put on check MC Search from third base.
I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you, Hammer is no joke. Because Hammer was signed to Def Jam West. I mean, Death Row West.
I was about to tell you that.
Yeah.
Now that you said the Nas and things going on in Vegas at that time, now I understand why Nas did the song Death Row East, talking about that he used to talk to Pat. He's supposed to talk to Pat that very day when he got shot. Nas.
Yeah, I know him and Pac eventually, I think they cleared it up. I'm not sure. But I know before, I don't know the full story about that, to be honest with you. But I know that I think the beef was really with Pac and Mobb Deep, I think. And Nas obviously rolled with, because they're all from Queens, and I think he got dragged into it. I think, allegedly. I don't know. But I think at the end, towards the end, they were cool. But, you know, obviously Pac, unfortunately, got killed.
But you had many close encounters with different people. You had a little beef with Wu-Tang.
Yo, how you know that?
Because we know hip hop. And then after, you got a song with Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah.
What was the beef with Wu-Tang Clan, and how you got to do a song with
I
Old Dirty Bastard?
I wanna know exactly how Pras get involved with ODB, because everybody knows ODB is ODB.
Crazy.
It's like the craziness thing going on in his mind. May rest in peace his soul. I want to know that too.
All right, so first the Wu-Tang happened. We had an event at in New York City at the Armory. And Wu-Tang obviously rolled deep. And we don't roll deep, but part of why we seem like we roll deep is because of the guys who was playing in the band. So we had the drummer, we had the bass player, the DJ, and someone else, I think. So it's three of us, the road manager, the guy. So it looks like we're rolling deep. And at that time, before we blew up, we had to carry our own instruments, right? And so we're going into the Armory. There's only one way in, basically. And it just so happened Wu-Tang is coming in at the same time, right? And it was just a little scuffle, whatever. But it wasn't the main people. It was like my crew and then their crew, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even though, you know, people are like, oh, the Fugees, they're supposed to be clean. But my crew, like my drummer and them, they used to carry guns because they from the streets. It's just that now they doing something better with their lives. But
Right.
there's certain things you just don't, because we know it was
Don't
hip-hop.
put away, yeah.
You don't put away,
course,
you know what I mean?
course.
So, but yeah, that's what happened. Now, as far as Old Dirty Bastard, that happened all by chance. I was doing this record for Warren Beatty for the movie the song's called Ghetto Superstar, but the movie was called Bulworth. And I'm in the studio in LA.
Okay.
And so Jimmy Iovine, y'all know Jimmy Iovine, right? Wanted me to put his new artist Maya on the record. Originally, I wanted Monica or Brandy. They both had the single coming out called The Boys Is Mine, so they couldn't do the single back then. Because back then it was like very strict. Today, artists will do their own record and they got a single with somebody else coming out.
Right.
Back then it was very strict. So Jimmy was like, yo, I got this great girl named Maya. I really love her. You should put her on the record. So I said, all right, you know, whatever. So I'm in LA and we just recorded Maya, and now I got to write my verse. And so I had the music loop, and we was in the studio called, I forgot, it's not there anymore. Beautiful studio. You walk right in. It's in California, Hollywood. You know, that whole vibe back there, palm trees. And as I'm in the studio writing, and Clef is sitting somewhere, Old Dirty come walking in with his crew. And he sees me there. I see him. He goes, yo, why they double book, man? Why this nigga in my studio, man? You know, my session. He said, I hate when Unique does that. So I was like, Unique? He said, yeah. He said, you know, Unique always fucking up. Now, I don't know if you guys know Unique Studio. You know Unique?
New York.
In New York.
New York.
You're in California.
So I'm like, why would he think he's... First of all, in Unique, you got to get in the elevator to go to the studio. This studio in LA, you just walk in. It's on one ground.
And he was,
So I'm like, what
he
the
was
fuck
thinking he
is
was
he
in
on?
unique New York in
Right.
LA.
I'm like, what is he on to be thinking he's in New York? What is he smoking?
Está en otro estado, en otro del país.
That's crazy though.
So once we realized, or once he realizes, oh shit, we're in California. He said, oh, my bad. So he's about to leave. But remember I told you the beat is looped in the background.
Right.
So he's like, yo, what's this? I said, oh, no, this thing I'm working on. I like that. Let me drop some verse on it. I said, you don't even know what this record's about. Said, well, what is it about? I said, all right, well, you know, so I'm telling him, like, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck am I even telling him this? But I'm telling him, right? I'm telling him about the movie, whatever. He goes, let me drop a verse on this. I'm like, nah, man. And so Clef was like, in Creole, he was like, yo, bro, we don't want to get into any beef. You see these niggas here. Let them get on this shit. We're going to erase this shit, dogs. Like,
Who was willing to pay that studio time, regardless?
right. So we like, all right, man, go in, man. So he listened to the hook. Little superstar. He's like, all right, cool. So he goes in, and we're recording, we're listening, and we hear, son, dad. Day? No, I don't do that. So we're like, what the fuck's going on here? And then he goes, after he's done that take, he said, give me another take. So the engineer was like, wait, you want to keep what you just, because it was nothing. It was just,
Right.
He said, yeah, give me another take.
Just gibberish.
And then he goes, Zan, I don't, way? I don't care. Okay. It's not that.
Wow.
Now he got everybody's attention, right?
Right.
Then the third take, he let the whole record play to the end of the hook, and he go, yeah.
Oh wow.
He said, all right, give me another take. So we give him this take, and then he goes, he started putting words, and basically what he did was, normally you lay the verse, you put the ad-libs or the candy,
Right.
and you do everything. He did it backwards.
So the last track,
The last track is actually the verse. The first track is the ad-lib.
How you managed to do that?
Yo, I was blown. You know, I swear to God, after he did that, he walked out. He didn't even say anything, right?
He don't even listen to it.
He didn't even listen to it. He left. I looked at Clef, I was like, this is going to be a #1 record, man. He said, why you say that? I said, did you just witness what just happened here? It was dude, it's similar to, and I know this is going to sound crazy, my publicist sent us here.
right.
My man goes in, dude's like, it's a law office. He's like, fuck, there's nothing here. So he's going back and forth with the publicist, like, yo, we here. She's like, no, just the address. And we get mad at the driver because we think the driver brought us to the wrong place. And we sit in the car for 15 minutes, like, I'm like, yo, E, man, get the address, man, so we can get where we need to get to, right? Then this dude come walking by in the 98 degrees with a Fuji jacket. We like, we need to follow this dude because he must be going where we need to go, yo.
Yo estoy pasando porque.
So he was the pin location.
Con un jacket a 100
No,
grados.
he was the pin location.
He was the pin location.
So this like weird shit like that happened to me. So going back to Old Dirty, I was like, yo, bro, I've never witnessed that before in my yo. Bro, I swear to God, it was like, yo, whoa, seamlessly.
I mean, that to this day is that the weirdest, like the
No,
craziest story?
besides
in the
98
studio?
degrees
I
and
got a lot of
jacket.
crazy story, but
Like in the studio, like in
no,
the
I
session.
got a lot of other crazy studio. Like I was there when Big did Who Shot You?
You was there?
Oh, he was.
How was the bite?
One take.
Nah.
What?
Yeah, he did that shit in one take.
Who shot ya?
One
Please tell that story, please.
one take, bro.
That's crazy.
Why you was there?
Off the head. I told you, like, I was one of those guys, like, I'll hang around. I knew Puff, but I wasn't really part of the crew. I just happened to just go there, you know what I mean? Like, it was mad people there. Bro, let me tell you something. When Big got in the studio, it was like a small booth. He's big, and he breathes hard, and he like, and the beat comes on, it's knocking, right? And he like, yeah. Like, you heard the ad-libs, everything. Yeah, turn my music up, boom. And he going, who shot you? Separate the weak. And every bar, everybody's going crazy like, what? No, yo, what? Like, yo, bro, one take.
That was one take.
One take.
Ding. That's
And how was that final? Like when he finished
And walked out?
everybody was like,
Bro, it was. I can't even. Let me put it like this to you. It was a time. So when you talk about hip hop, right? So obviously you have the pioneers, the '80s. That's the pioneers, and there was great moments because it was exciting for us coming up as kids.
Right.
Now living those moments, the '90s to me was a little bit different because I feel like the '90s was kind of like the all-stars of hip-hop. Like,
Dream Team.
it was the dream team. Supreme, like there would never be the same dream team with Jordan, Charles Barkley. That's never, I don't care who's playing, when, how. I don't care if these athletes can fly and dunk. That moment would, so it's like the same thing. It was one of those moments, man, in hip hop, like I would say a good 4-year stretch where you was happy just to be alive, man. It wasn't about the money. It was just about like when Biggie freestyle over Ready or Not on Hot 97, right? And I never forget, man, the last time I saw Biggie, we did a show in Miami called Winterfest, I think it was called. It was us, Biggie, Wu-Tang, all that. And I went to his hotel room, and I remember, because that's when the score first came out, and I remember Biggie saying, I love that album. To me, that was platinum. Because we looked up to Biggie. Like, we know he was the greatest. Or being with Pac and Pac saying, that Fugees lies, crazy. I made it. Like, because you have so much revere and respect. And we don't, in those moments, you don't know they're going to become icons.
Right.
you are making history.
We don't know we're making history. We just in the moment.
Right.
But we know what we felt. We felt good. It felt great. You know what I mean? Like just having beating Wu-Tang Clan to get the mic from Hot 97, you know, it just felt good because we respected them. We know they're great.
Right.
And to be amongst that, dude, I can't even describe the jubilation and the feeling, bro. It's just something else. Again, we were talking about this backstage. This generation here, this era we're in, it's a different era. It's a great era. I wish we had this back then.
Right.
We had this back then.
Social media and
Social
shit.
media.
Yes. Wow, this is a crazy story. I never imagined you was there with Biggie when he recorded this hit. You also telling that you was very friend of Pac, right?
I was cool with Pac, yeah.
And then when this thing happened, you think it was how hip hop changed when this thing happened? Tupac and Biggie.
The beef?
The
event.
The event.
Which event?
Which one?
The tragic event.
Oh, the death between
before
two of them?
besides two guys.
Yeah, man. You know, it was tough, man. I remember exactly where I was at when Big and Pac got shot, and it felt. Now, Big, I knew Big, but I didn't know him. Like, I never hung out with Big. Like, I knew him because we did shows, whatever. I would say I probably knew Pac better than I knew Big, right? And Pac, obviously, I had a different history with him because my guys were also involved in the nonsense with him. You know what I mean? The Haitian Jacks and all that. And at one point, even Pac, at one point, thought I had something to do with it. Because there's a record where he's dissing the Fugees. Right? He got a song, he's dissing the Fugees, right? But then him and I spoke about it afterwards and then cleared it up. Because I was like, Pac, you know I'm not a gangster, bro. I'm not into, like, you know. Because also you got to remember, back then, there was so few of us as far as, like, Haitians. So these Haitian gangsters just gravitated towards us. Because gangsterism in the 90s became... They got smart, because you gotta remember these gangsters, these drug dealers, first, they were first drug dealers that became gangsters. So in the 70s and the 80s, they all got locked up doing 10, 20, 15 years. They come out, they're like, yo, this is corny. And now the rappers, because you gotta remember, people don't know this, in the 80s, the drug dealers was the hot things in the high schools. All the girls wanted to be with the drug dealers. When the rappers start blowing up, they flip. Like, girls are like, man, I'm safer with the rappers than I am with the gangsters, with the drug dealers.
And getting the same cheese.
And getting the same money, and they're more popular. Right? So now, the drug dealers realize, what am I killing myself for? I'm just going to manage rappers because they rapping about my lifestyle.
And you got the Supremes, you got the Alpos, and all of that.
You got all of that, right? And this is nationwide. It just New York first started, but you had that going on. Sugar in them, West Coast. You had that in the South. You had that all over. Right now, this happening right here in the reggaeton culture.
Of course.
The same.
Let's keep it a buck. It's what it is, right? So anyway, so when Jack and Haitian Jack, and Henchman and them saw this new group called the Fugees taking off, even though we weren't on some gangsters vibe, but they were still around us. Well, around me in particular. 'Cause I was more the street guy, right? Clef was more like the church, and obviously Lauren's not dealing with that nonsense. So the streets gravitate towards me, even though I'm not a street guy per se like that. Like, I don't pursue that, but you know, I am from the streets. So anyway, so Pac didn't know if I had set him up, if I was part of it, and then we spoke about it, obviously, and I was like, nah, because there was so many incidents that happened with my guys, and I'm not literally right there, but I'm in the area. You know, the hotel incident, and then obviously the Atlanta thing, the Ring, Quad Studio, all these things. It started to feel like, you know, when I was like, Pac, this is what it is. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Okay, I'm in that line. I want to know how. That was a great story, man. I want to know how you guys, like, when you got the first hit and the group Fugees, like,
What was it like?
what was this like, and how you guys, like, we have been hustling very hard. This is our first hit, and how you guys were with that?
Because we had what I call a mini hit, and then we had
The big
hit.
Yeah, but you went from the Booger Basement from selling 12 albums to selling 20 million. That's what changed you as a person. What's the difference between you guys in '94 and you guys after your first hit?
Well, I mean, obviously the notoriety, right, being global at this point. You know, like having Princess Diana come backstage and say what's up to you. You know, just being respected. You know, again, when it's happening, you don't realize, especially back then, we didn't have social media, right? So I tell people back then, if you blew up, you really blew up because there was no theatrics to it.
You watch the real thing going on.
And I'm not saying anything wrong with this right now. I wish I had this back then.
Right.
I'm gonna keep, because I didn't want to do all what I had to do back then, but we had to. But back then, you had to grind, man. You had to, like, you needed radio. You needed, like, the record.
Magazines, videos, everything.
Everything, right? And then you hope it takes off, right?
You said that right word. You hope, because that's all you can do. Hope and grind.
And
Hope
if
and
you
grind.
don't, so anyway, so when the first record that took off for us was Fugees.
Fujila.
It felt good, man. You know, it was like, wow, okay, cool. So then we go up to put out the second single, which was Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not.
Ready or not.
But what happened is there was a rock station in California that started to play Killing Me Softly on its own.
A rock station. So you
On a
went to
rock
another
station.
demographic already.
On a rock station. And that was the Murder She Wrote.
Wow.
The murder she
It
wrote.
that was organic.
Wait.
The guy, so see, people, the Fugees, the first album, they were like, that's a great band, but it's like, we had a following, we had a vibe, but it's like, okay, give us what we need to really love you,
Right.
which is a great record.
Right. The potential was there.
Potential was there.
Right.
We like the concept. Makes sense. Fugees. Yeah. So now we got Fugees, and so the guy from the rock station was already a fan, but he was like, I can't play hip hop.
Right.
I'm talking about Nirvana, Rolling Stone. That's all they played. So he happened, because he's telling us the story. We went and performed at the state. They had with Aerosmith and everything.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And
So you did like a Tiny Dex concert at that moment on the radio station.
Right. And I'm going to tell you what happened there. So anyway, so he's looking at the back of the... Let me tell you, man, God works in so many ways. Because Killing Me Softly was not called Killing Me Softly originally. It was called Killing a Soundboy.
Yes.
The writer, the guy who wrote the song, was like, you ain't changing the name of my record. Yeah, he didn't allow us to do that because it's a cover.
Right.
I'm glad we didn't do that, because this what happened. The rock guy just happened to be looking at the back of the album. He was going through it, whatever. He didn't even listen to the album. He was just looking at the back, and he sees Killing Me Softly. He was like, well, what's this? And he start listening to it. He's like, yo, this is a crazy version.
Right.
He played it one time. Phone lit up.
Wow.
And the programmer at the station was like, if the people want it, play it. And that's how and then everybody across the country start playing it. So we had to pull back, Ready or Not, and go with Killing Me Softly.
Which of those tracks from actually that album, the score, which is the track that you might think that you overrate that track and that track became hot? Like, did you have a
you
track that
didn't
you
expect it
overrate
to
that
go
you didn't
to-
expect that it would blow up like that?
Killing Me Softly?
No,
wait,
which record out of the entire album? Which
yeah.
one record you
Overrated.
had there, but you didn't think would blow up, but did blow up? That was a surprise blow up.
I think, listen, I'll be honest with you. We didn't think the record, I mean, it's not that we didn't think. You always hope and wish.
Right.
You're always going to be like, oh, I want this thing to be Michael Jackson, you know? But when it happens and it's actually happening, you shock. Like, I didn't know. I thought Ready or Not was the smash.
Okay.
And Ready or Not became the cult smash, right? That's when we perform, that's what you in the concert, and you see lighters. I mean, that song comes, the minute,
It's the underground song. You were so under, you were in the submarine.
I didn't think that.
Right.
You know, obviously the global smash is Killing Me Softly, right?
Right.
But yeah, I didn't think Killing Me Softly. I just thought Killing Me Softly was gonna give a balance to the album.
Oh, okay.
Why you guys changing the music, in the time that you guys it was not happening nothing, and then it started happen. Like I know you told us like this guy told you that you have to have something in the music, but it was the same magic, or you guys like changed your music for this happen?
No, we didn't change. We evolved. We evolved. We got better at our craft. You know what I mean? Because, dude, you got to understand something. I'm going to give you a crazy story. So I started out when I was like 13, 14. So one day, this this producer, because I was a hustler, right? Out of church. So a friend of mine brought me this producer that they wanted me to produce from Japan, this artist.
Okay.
this is 1989, 88, something like that. Gave me $25,000 cash. No publishing, nothing, just cash.
Right.
So I called Clef, and this, I've never been in the studio before in my whole entire life. So I called Clef, I said, yo, man, I got $25,000. They want me to produce this record. I'll give you half, go in the studio. Because I know Clef played the bass,
Right.
played the guitar. I do the drums. I said, yo, we'll figure this shit out. We're from the church. We go into the studio. The shit looked like a spaceship. We never seen this equipment before in our life, right? So we got to do a song for this Japanese guy. We spend all day in the studio. We come up with this fucking song. Horrible record. Something like tin 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 tin.
Absolutely
It was
stereotypical.
horrible, bro. The dude loved it. Did his thing. Go on with our life, whatever. Fugees blow up. 96. We go do a show in Japan. Huge. 80,000 people.
Wow.
So the promoter goes, look, it's your show. We have an act that's a fan of y'all and wants to come in. You guys are big. I don't know if you're 80,000 big, but this motherfucker is already sold out because of him. And you guys probably could do 30,000, 40,000. That guy could do all that by himself.
Right.
But he wants to give you guys respect. Don't really want to offend you guys. He doesn't care. He doesn't want a headline. He want to respect you guys. You come into his home. Well, I'm just letting you guys know he's a beast. He's the Michael Jackson of Japan. So we're like, we don't give a fuck. Whatever y'all want to do, whatever. Boom. The guy's like, listen, man, I respect these guys. I'm going to go on before them.
Wow.
So, you know, we get to the show early, me and Clef, whatever. So the guy wants to meet us after his show. He goes and performs. He's doing his thing, crowd. Like, I don't even know how to explain who he was. The biggest you could think of reggaeton, like coming in there, 80,000 people, crowd going crazy, whatever. And then he performed this one song at the end of the song, right? People are passing out. The song is the bullshit song.
No.
He was like,
I thought you want to say that. That was a great song. Like that was an explosive song.
was like,
it was a
what?
bullshit.
the dude comes backstage and says, yo, you guys saved my life, man. He's like, I'm indebted to you guys.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that, right?
That is crazy.
Wow.
Yo, when I tell you, he performed, yo, bro, listen,
People faint,
but let me-
passing out.
Let me say this to you. I don't like going to concerts, but I've been to a couple. Like, I've been to Rolling Stone, U2. I've been to Michael Jackson concerts. I met Michael, I worked with Michael, whatever. I would put his concert on the Michael Jackson level in the sense of, like, I've seen big artists, like, whether it be, like, Bad Bunny, Balvin, those guys, they 80, 90,000 people going crazy. I haven't seen anybody in their concert passing out.
Right. Right. Right.
Yo,
Over that bullshit song.
a bullshit. Cause you know this is the late 80s. We don't know what Japan is. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a bullshit synthesizer shit.
Hearing this bullshit. Synthesizer bullshit. Like add a little shit here.
It was like some 80s cyberpunk
Okay,
shit.
now, you're talking about music, and I have to ask you this question. Okay, I want to know how you guys, like Fugees, did all these hits, like how you guys work in the studio. But before that, I want to ask you about Michael Jackson, because Fugees was in their peak, but had the monster of Michael Jackson like trending and doing all this huge concert. That was the king of pop. How you guys, like, you guys never said like, we have to collaborate or just work, or we have to pasarle el rolo, how we say in Puerto Rico.
Go over him.
Nah, nobody's gonna ever go over Michael Jackson.
Right.
But we connected with him. Obviously, we met him, and then Clef and I did a record for him, like a remix, some whatever. It was a great experience meeting Michael Jackson. I thought it was the most incredible experience ever. You know, it was just dope. Like, it was amazing. Went to his house. You know, it was
That's crazy.
the craziest experience.
Monkeys, giraffes, lions.
You know what? Nah, that wasn't even the craziest part. The craziest part, I'm gonna give you one example. So, we in the crib, right? The Neverland, whatever. And it's like, there's no one there, it's just us, right? And I remember, like, me and Clef met up at by the, I guess, the kitchen area or whatever. And it was just the two of us there. And I'm like, damn, I'm kind of hungry, man. He's like, yeah, I'm hungry too. And as we saying that, like, so imagine like we, like this right here, right? Now, we walk, like, imagine if I walked in this room, there's no one in this room.
Right.
And it's just you and I talking, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm fucking, what's your name?
Ferdy.
Ferdy?
Yeah.
Man, Ferdy, I'm hungry as fuck. You like, yeah, I'm hungry too. I was just like, I don't know. And this is before DoorDash, all that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, all of a sudden, as we talking, oh shit! There's a dude just appeared.
Out of nowhere.
Out of no fucking, I promise you. We're like, yo, where the fuck you came from? We're like, I understand you guys hungry. We're like,
What?
What the?
And he was dressed up. How he was dressed up, like a butler or how?
no, he was just like,
Regular?
Like Jeffrey a Batman or something?
like professional, but not. That wasn't even the thing that fucked me up. Was like, so we was like, damn, okay, maybe we were so deep in our conversation we didn't notice him. But there was no. There's like no. That's like us sitting here right now and somebody just appeared behind you. Like, how, right?
It's like you were talking to Siri in '96.
Right.
Siri, I'm hungry.
So he was like, what do you guys want to eat? So we're like, what can you make? He
A
said,
Philly cheesesteak?
no, listen what he said. He says, any dish you want.
Any dish.
He said, any dish. So we was like, what do you mean any dish? Like, he said, any dish you want from any parts of the world. Like
Don't tell me you put it to proof. Like-
he goes, like Indian dish, you like cuisine. He didn't say dish, he said Indian cuisine. If you like Japanese, you like Korean. You know, he was saying shit. This before we ate sushi. Like we wasn't, this before we went to Nobu and all that, right? We just still like 96, 97. We just not coming into money, right? So I was like, you can't make any dish though. He's like, it doesn't matter where and what part of the world, we here to serve you guys. So Clef being Clef, he was like, can you do a Haitian dish? He says, yeah, whatever it is. He's all right, give me white rice, red beans, and so there's this dish we have called lumbi. I mean, it's like conch. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a seafood, right?
Okay.
But it's very hard to make.
Like conch.
Conch, but we cook it actually and with a stew.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, like a soup.
Yeah, it's like a soup. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And he said, all right, no problem. He said, but it's gonna take a couple hours. And we was like, you gotta know that to know that, right? It's not like
Right.
cooking pasta, like
Yeah,
put
because
some
that's
hot water
very
on it.
hard. You have to boil it.
You gotta
like,
boil
for
it, you gotta
long.
like pressure cook it.
Uh-huh.
The you know the red beans, you guys eat red beans, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
That shit don't take, it takes a long time to do that, right?
To do it good. Good.
Huh?
Do it good, do it right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. Dude, like, if you, he's like, if you got a couple hours, he's like, we're like, I was like, yeah, I want to see what this shit tastes like.
so you put it to proof.
Yo, bro, he had the perfect seasoning.
Tender.
I was there for 3 days, bro. I'm telling you, the shit I saw at that house, it was the craziest shit ever. And I don't know if I was being watched. I don't know what it was. Like, for example, it's so funny at nighttime. So after we ate the dish, it was great. One last thing. I remember I went into the kitchen to grab something. Like, they had everything. Anything you want, Oreo cookies, whatever. I grabbed some cookie, graham crackers. That's what I love, graham crackers. I had graham crackers, whatever. And you know how when you take something and so like my phone was like this, right? So I left it on the counter, like, and I'm a very OCD guy. You know, I'm give my crackers, whatever, and I just take a napkin, like take the crumbs, whatever, to go put. When I go back, yo, the crackers was back in this. And there was no one there, bro. Yo, I'm not even making this shit up. Yo, it was no one around. I had to keep this shit to my. Yo, man, I'm gonna tell you how crazy it was. I kept all this shit to myself till we head into the airport. And Clef was like, "You good, man?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm cool." He's like, "Yo, what's that?" I said, "Yo, there's some weird shit happening."
You feel like you were in a haunted mansion?
I was like, I don't want to say, because I didn't want him to think I was like
Crazy, right.
crazy, whatever. He said, "Yo, did you the bathroom shit too?" I said, "Yeah." "Yo, that happened to you too?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, I thought it was just me." I said, "No, this is me too, man. I didn't know." Bro, it was like that.
People follow you. It's haunted.
But we don't see what's happening. Like, you know how you take a shower?
Yeah.
Right.
I get out the shower, I go in the room to put on my clothes, I come back, the whole shit's dried up, everything, like.
Wow.
Let me tell
I
you
don't know
something.
where it was, bro.
Let me tell you something. I would be
Oompa-loompas.
worried. I would be worried for real. I was like, oh, man.
But I mean, it's Michael. You know what I mean? It's but
I don't
anyway.
know. I don't know if you can say this, but what you guys was doing there, like business? You want to do a
Oh no, we did the remix for Michael Jackson, "Blood on the Dance Floor."
Yes.
the remix.
Yeah.
You even made. There's a story that you made a dub plate for Mike and used Michael Jackson for a
Clef did, yeah.
for a battle of DJs.
Yeah. That reggae battle they be doing.
And you had Michael Jackson killing DJs.
Yeah, he be doing that. Clef be doing that.
Okay. I want to know now how you work, how you guys work. How was that magic of Fugees in the studio? Like
The creation process.
Clef brings the idea. You bring the idea. Like Lauren bring the idea. Let's construct this. Like how you guys work.
Oh, back then it was. I was the guy who basically. So Clef and Lawrence is definitely the more like in-depth creatives. Like they'll do a record for one song. It'd be 20 minutes long, right?
Right.
I was the guy that'd be like the radio ear guy. The guy would be like,
That's not it.
that's cool, but let's kill him softly. Or
Right.
ready or not. Like the hook, yo, that hook works.
You are
Like,
this of the year.
Huh?
You're this artist that have the
As
year
an artist,
in the group.
I'm the music guy as far as like what works commercially. That was
like the
my
A&R.
specialties. Yeah. Like when we did like Ghetto Superstar, Hips Don't Lie, Maria, I'm all involved with those records. Like,
Right.
yo, this is, you know what I'm saying too? I'm very sensitive. So that's the process. So like Radio or Not, Clef came with the beat.
Okay.
Because he was sleeping one day, he was watching this movie, he heard the sample in a movie. He's like, this is crazy. And he brought it to us. And then Lauren, she knew every song from Motown, whatever. So she started humming something. Oh. Like if you hear Fugees, she sung like 20 different hooks on there. And they were all amazing. And the last hook she sung when we were all tired about to go home was Fugees. And we was like, whoa, what the fuck? And by the way, all the other hooks were amazing.
Right.
But it was something about the way Fugees
The way she flipped it.
Yeah.
I heard that you are a real watch enthusiast.
Yeah.
My favorite one is my brother has a Rolex President, so that's my favorite one.
A Rolex?
President, yeah.
Okay.
Which of your songs or productions, it doesn't have to be only with the Fugees, is your Patek Philippe with peacock and diamonds factory made?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. You know, I'm working on this reggaeton album.
Yes.
I think it's going to come. But if I was to say something that exists now, I would say Radio Now.
Radio Now. But now that you said you are working on a reggaeton album and you are producing that, do you think that album might become your Patek Philippe?
Yeah.
I want to enter in that. I want to like how you guys see the reggaeton, why you are doing a reggaeton album, and who's your favorite artist of reggaeton?
Good question. All right, so look, you know, and I was saying this to your colleagues. Most people don't know, you know, I'm a real hip hop connoisseur. Like hip hop when Shelter Adidas, Thick Laces, Gazelles, Quartervilles, New York,
Chipkins.
Well, for real, right? And I tell people like Puerto Ricans have a instrumental contribution to the hip hop culture that's been very underrated. Okay. Now, I think the reason is because there weren't that many Puerto Ricans rapping. It was more like the b-boys, the breakdancing, the graffiti. But they were very much there. There's even some rappers, they didn't blow up, but that came out during the Bombada days, Africa Bombada, all that. And so, cut to, we all are influenced by each other.
Right.
I grew up around Puerto Ricans, period. You know, my mom obviously born in Venezuela. She's Haitian, but she was born in Venezuela, raised and all that. So you always have that Latin, you know, you hearing the Latin salsa in the background. My uncle's coming in, you know, doing that, eating sugar cane, you know, that whole vibe. Like Guantanamela, I brought that record to Clef because Celia Cruz is my mom's favorite artist.
Yes.
Right? So there's always that influence there, right? And we all borrow from each other. And so even Hips Don't Lie, I'm part of the creation behind that. You know what I mean? So now cut to why. What happened is somebody, so I'm working on a documentary of, you know, I don't want to get deep into it, but of my war with the U.S. government, right? And so I'm doing a soundtrack for that. So a friend of mine brought me this record. It's a reggaeton record. It's amazing. And I was like, all right, I want to do this. I want to do the record. So then I brought my crew to help me, you know, because my Spanish is non-existent. So we did the record and this shit was just dope. And I was just like, you know, I could do one song and maybe it could blow up and it become this one-hit thing, whatever. I said, I don't want to cheat the culture like that. I want to do a full, at the minimum, an EP or a full album. And it was just like, now getting trained, learning my Spanish, you know, learning the words. Because obviously I'm influenced by the culture. You know, like, look, before I dive deep into it, clearly I'm aware of what's going on in the background in the reggaeton world, obviously, right? Like, you just know the obvious. The Karol G's, the Becca G's, Bunnies, the Dial, all that. You know Don Omar. You know these obvious, right? But I wasn't deep dive into it. Now that I'm diving deep into it, like, it opened my eyes a little bit more. Like, now I'm starting to have, like, artists that I really like, you know, that I'm really, like,
You're connecting with.
I'm connecting with. I'm loving their vibe. I'm loving their swag. I'm loving what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm loving the sound. I'm being familiar with them, you know, and it's just dope. You know, like, for example, you know, we already recorded a couple songs already. We're doing a song right now with Don Omar, probably Eva Queen. What's that? My favorite record with Dial that's on that record. Yango Flow.
I did a song with Yango Flow.
Yo, B, that record is fucking amazing, bro. It's crazy. You know, Jordy coming.
Oh,
Jordy Boy.
Jordy. Jordy there.
Yeah,
You have a good reggaeton album there.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yori Hoy, though.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. This probably going to be one of my best work. Only reason I'm saying this is because I've really been inspired by this, man. Like, it's just the energy. And you know what's crazy? Like, who I'm collaborating with. Like, for example, I'm collaborating with my guys. You know, my man who's making sure my Spanish is right. My man's 16, but he's Dominican, right?
Right.
Which is, you know, them Dominicans and they Spanish is kind of crazy,
It-
but you know what I'm saying?
It's different. Definitely different.
It's unique.
It's unique. It is.
unique.
Definitely unique. Yeah.
You know,
Exquisite.
but yo, that's my man. You know, I got the Puerto Ricans, you know, right here, my man right here, and our producer. But the point I'm saying is that it's how, you know, you hear the politics between Haiti and Dominican Republic and all that bullshit.
Right.
But yo, when we come together, yo, it's just love, yo. It's just like it ain't none of that nonsense that you be hearing about, and it's so inspiring for me. And the music is just dope. You guys gonna hear it, man. You know.
Okay, wait.
Say something in Spanish.
No,
Why
no.
can't you say in Spanish?
We're going there. Like, if you're going to sing in English, and this
Español?
artist, the Latin artist like Nenko Flow, they're going to sing in Spanish. Or how's the dynamic? That's the word.
Yeah. So basically, I'm 98%, maybe 96% of the whole album is all Spanish.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not doing.
That 10% is you.
No, I'm saying, no, me.
Yeah,
It's
your
all
parts.
Spanish. Like
Okay.
what I'm doing is 96, 97% Spanish.
But okay,
Okay,
you have to rap right now Spanish. I want to hear
I ain't
something.
gonna do that.
Please give us something in
But
Spanish.
I'm gonna say this. Here's the thing. The thing is this: is that, you know, when we writing the records, right? Because my guys is like, yo, do it in Spanglish. I'm like, nah, that's lazy, man. I don't want to do that. You know. Like, I want to go, and it's tough.
I'm gonna go deep in Spanish.
Because the thing is, you got to keep doing the take. You got to keep doing the take. You got to keep doing, you know what I mean? Because it got to be perfect, right? I don't want to sit here and fuck up the vibe, right?
Of course.
But you know, as we recording, I'm learning it also at the same time. You see what I'm saying too? So, because I'm gonna have to perform these records, right? So, bro, literally, it's not. Oh, somebody's doing something in Spanish and I'm doing English. Nah, man. Like, that's,
Are you doing verse, or you're doing hook, or you're doing?
I'm doing everything.
Everything?
Like I'm doing more verses and some hooks in there, but it's in Spanish.
Right.
Like,
Of course.
yeah.
You say
It's an
okay.
absolute
you know
challenge.
that
Did you
King
say the
Cole-
word? You said the word culo? if you don't say it, you're not doing reggaeton, man. I can't lie with you, man.
The way he laughing, I think he's saying culo and
culo.
other things.
Quite a few times.
Perreo, culo. Yo,
That's dope,
you know
bro.
that Nat King Cole did some albums in full Spanish. He fell in love in Cuba and came into the Caribbean and did like 2 albums full in
I
Spanish.
didn't know that. That's great.
And he got hit records in Spanish.
That's crazy.
That's beside his whole catalog in English. You always been famous for keeping a balance because you do great music and you keep in touch that the music is on par and a high level. But you also are famous for being the business mind of the group and being like famous being the business mind behind the
I know where you're going. I think
No.
that you're going. That I don't know if it's a secret that you like when was the mastermind to get Fugees back and going like in a new world tour.
Nah, unfortunately, I wasn't the mastermind behind that. But it was. So basically, what happened is it was Clef who really wanted this to happen because of a situation I was in. You know what I mean? So, and then, you know, Lauren was like, yo, let's just do it. You know what I mean? So that's how the tour came about. So I got to give them respect for that.
But you once said it was impossible to get back together.
Yeah, I did say that. But you know what? You know the thing you realize is that what you don't know is bigger than you, man. Man, plan, God, laugh, man. You know what I'm saying? So I learned, man, I don't put nothing past anything. Anything can happen.
My question was because you once said that you, being a business mind, that you without a hit record had more money and made more money than the top rappers. How is that possible? And how important is investing and keeping your business straight?
Well, listen, I think that, you know, I always felt like, you know, I always understood business. I always understood, you know, it's more than just rapping, singing, whatever, dancing. And so, you know, I was always venturing out doing different things, you know. And I think that, you know, for me, the next phase of my life, the second wave of my life, is about sharing that with people. Because when you sit back and think about this, hip hop, reggaeton, and all that, think about how it's able to enrich lives. Not just the artists, but their families and their families' families. Because reggaeton and hip hop is $1 billion industry, especially given with now the technology we have with social media, right? I mean, we all need to sit down and thank the living God, because I don't know where I would be without hip hop. I don't know where you guys would be. You see what I'm saying to you? But we also have to understand it's a business. Tomorrow you could be, next day, done.
Right.
It's just how the world works.
And you can be here, and the next day you can be in the top.
So it's always smart. But I would say this: I see a generation that's definitely smarter than our last generation, because I guess you learn. That's the whole key. You learn from previous generations. So from that aspect, I think it's great. But then, you got the flex culture too, you know what I mean? So you just got to be careful with all of that.
Right.
Okay, I did this question. We're doing the cool down, right? I did this question to Jake Paul, and one of his boxing fight in here in PR, and I'm going to do it with you. If you guys like go in the world tour now with Fugees, you don't think about like bringing some artists of reggaeton artists to this show, like a performance like with you guys, a song, just to get that Latin audience more?
So look, with the Fuji dynamic, it's a little bit, you have 3 different entities, and obviously, Lauren being the nucleus of the group, if you will. It's more about what she got going on, And so, for me, obviously, like I said, I'm going deep in because I love the culture. It's just, to me, it's a project. But when I say it's a project that is not too foreign to me. I love the culture, obviously. I'm technically part of the culture, by my mom, whatever. But even if my mom wasn't, it just by affiliation, And so, and what you're saying is, obviously, when I do my thing, and hopefully if it's successful, then, could bring more people on, But as far as the Fugees is different, because the Fugees is just something that happened.
Concept.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, listen, look, I'm going to give you examples. Like, when we did Hips Don't Lie, right? I'll never forget the day we put that record together. It took us 6 hours to put that record together, right? And, obviously, because originally I was on that record. The reason I got off the record, because when we did the record, it was sent to Shakira. Because she's a writer. No one writes for her, okay?
Oh.
And especially back then. And so she had to, it was basically a demo we did for her that her executive at Sony, Charlie Walk, was like, wanted us to do, right? And we all thought it was great. We all loved it. But the artist still has to feel the same thing that everybody else feels, right? Because ultimately it's them. And while we was waiting, I went to do a documentary in Los Angeles, a homeless documentary. Skid Row.
Okay.
So when the word came back that she wants to do it, I wasn't around to redo my vocals.
Okay.
Right? So Clef just did it because they couldn't wait for me, obviously, which is fine. But the point I'm saying to you is that I was part of the creative process. As a matter of fact, low key, it was my idea to do that version that they did. And so I say this to say to you that it's always been there. Just like Guantanamo, I bought the vinyl to Clef, like, yo, bro, check this shit out. Now, obviously, he knew who Celia Cruz was, but I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. And they sampled it, and
So you brought the vinyl from
Guantanamo.
the other one, the one for the like the trumpets at the beginning from Jerry Rivera.
Dum, bum, 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 ba-da-ba. No, that was actually Clef idea.
Cliff?
Okay.
But the meat of the record was
Okay.
me.
Yeah, I know we're cooling down, but I want to ask you this one question. Were you kidnapped in Somalia?
Yeah. That's another long story, but yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
I wanna. Now that you
But
said,
if you not to cut you off, but if you follow my journey, there's always been some form of like Latin influence, or like Maria, for example, right? That was my artist that I signed, Product G&B. Clef came to me. He was working with Carlos Santana at the time. Clive David had just signed Carlos Santana, and Clef was like, "Yo, I got this. What you think about this beat?" It was just a beat, and this artist is funny because so at that time we were all recording at Sony Studio in the city, and J-Lo and I was working out of this one particular room. She would come in the morning, and I would come afterwards, right? And apparently these guys were supposed to sign with J-Lo. I don't know. They were supposed to meet with her or whatever. But, it's J-Lo.
Of course.
And we're talking about back in the, obviously, late 90s, whatever. So anyway, so these guys never got a chance to sign with her. So one day I'm walking in, because it's my session, the manager bumps into me like, "Yo, won't you hear these kids? They're supposed to meet with J-Lo, whatever." So I was like, "All right, whatever, man." These two guys walked in the room. They get in the booth. Guys singing about how, he's so broke. He's drinking milk with a fork. I felt so bad for these guys. I was like, but they sounded great. So I signed them. Literally, like the next day, I signed them. So then that day I signed them, Clef called me up like, "Yo, listen to this beat I'm working on, Carlos Santana." Boom, 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 boom. Doom, 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 doom. No guitars, nothing, just the beat. And I said, "Yo, I might have these guys, man." He's like, "Man, listen, any ideas work, whatever." Brought them up. We all went away. I mean, went to do our own thing because the session is open. Came back, and it was Maria.
smash hit, smash
Wow.
hit.
Yo.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go without this. This is a trend topic right now. And earlier in the pre-production, we were talking about hip hop and how we Latinos, Caribbeans, people from Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, how we were involved in the beginning of hip hop.
Yes.
Now, these days, we have these statements that are running over the internet, saying that hip hop doesn't have any Caribbean inspiration, not Jamaican, not Puerto Rican, no nothing. That hip hop is actually only a creation for foundational Black Americans. And Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian is coming out with these statements, also with Nasheed Tariq and the FBA, trying to put out the Caribbean heritage on hip hop, to erase the Caribbean heritage from hip hop at their beginnings, their foundation. Now that you live in the States and you was in on the golden era of hip hop and you live with it, what do you think about those statements? They are correct? They are not correct? Do we still, as Caribbeans, have the influence at the beginning of hip hop? Or what do you think about these statements that they are running now the internet?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually hear the statements to hear what context they were saying, but if you're just telling me on face value, I mean, look, it's self-evident, right? I mean, first of all, Cool DJ Hurt is Jamaican. If you go and just watch Beat Street, it's clear. I mean, the star of the movie is Puerto Rican.
Wild Style. I've been saying that because Wild Style is about Puerto Rican too.
I don't know what to tell you. I know what I saw in New York City. So if you're not from New York City in the 80s, don't talk to me.
Right.
I tell people, I tell people, like, for example, there are kids, like my man right here, he doesn't know, he never witnessed a cassette. He know what this is.
Right.
Now he heard what a cassette is. He didn't know what an 8-track was. So he can sit here and say, I'm a iPhone baby. Like he's born kind of like when it just happened. But there are kids that can sit here and say, I remember when Steve Jobs first introduced the iPod, right?
Right.
Well, I could tell you, I remember the first hip hop record ever played on a radio station on Earth. Not in America, on Earth, right? So I was there, and I saw Puerto Ricans, and obviously Black Americans, meaning like I'm considered Black American, but my parents are from South America and Caribbean.
Right.
So that's Caribbean. Jay-Z, half Jamaican. Biggie, Jamaican. Like, yeah, we were born here and we got American influence, but I'm not from the South. I'm from New York. So New York is Caribbean.
Right.
It's just I was born in New York. Fat Joe,
Puerto Rican.
that's
Big pun.
Latino. Like, let's stop playing. So I don't know what you mean. It's just black. There's no such thing as black. If it started out in the South or in the West Coast, I'd be like, you may have an argument there because when you talk about people gotta understand how migration works, right? So the South, most of the blacks down there, if you look all the way up to the 80s, are descendants of slavery. When the immigrants started to immigrate and migrate to America after World War II, late 40s, 50s.
40, 50.
They were going to the north because that was easier for them to go to the city, right? So they went to New York. They went, Miami. They came to Miami late, right? Like the Cubans came to Miami in the 80s, the Jamaicans, the Haitians, whatever. So, but hip hop we know started in New York, the Bronx.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to explain this to a
I
lot
don't
of
understand the argument. Now, if you said to me, where did human civilization started? Man, that argument could be anything. Because the last bone they found from 200-300 years ago was, it wasn't somewhere in Africa, whatever. So you can say, oh, maybe African. But that's not. There might be another bone from 500,000 years ago. They might find that shit in Iran or in Pakistan. So for now, we can say African, but that's still debatable because that's not the definitive bone. But when you're talking about hip hop, definitively, it's working. It's working. Cool DJ Herc was the first dude to put up the speakers. Like, first of all, you gotta understand the history of hip hop. The DJ was the most important thing in hip hop up till
without DJ, no hip hop.
Exactly.
So because why? Because in this after disco, there's a new transition happening. 80s is coming in, and if everybody know, if you're from the East Coast, abandoned buildings, Ronald Reagan's the president, and
Burning Bronx.
Coming out of inflation, and this young generation, which is our generation, if you're my age, trying to figure out, we're trying to figure out, a little bit, the generation before me, trying to figure out, what are we gonna do? So everybody's at the park. After a while, you're like, damn, I need to hear something. Like, somebody came up with the idea with some big speakers, take some electricity, and you know what people don't know? How hip-hop came about? Because R&B, thank God for R&B. They used to make 8-minute songs. And they had this
break
where motherfuckers just like, all right, let me go get to the kitchen, let me go cook, and then the nigga come back and sing at that fucking 4-minute break, right? So the hip hop guy will rap over that. Throw your hands in the air and wave it like you just don't care. The crowd start loving that. I'm gonna give a perfect example, not to show you how things come about. Do you know how movies came about? I'm gonna tell you how movies came about. And this is similar to hip hop. So in the 20s, you had silent films, obviously, right? So people used to go to the theaters to watch live, what we call like now Broadway, right? So
A motion picture.
the intermission was a 15, 20-minute intermission, and that's where they would play the silent films. That was the intermission, why people go get, right?
Right.
What happened is, after a while, people were like, this is kind of hard. Like, I don't want to go. They start seeing people staying for the 20-minute intermission. That's how motion pictures became movies. That's why it's called movie theater.
Right.
It was first just a theater, and people just loved the 20 minutes, and they expanded it. That's how that movies came about. So when you talk about hip hop, it came about because the break was the hottest part of the R&B part, and somebody's just doing their swag on it, and boom, that's the birth of hip hop. And like I said, you can clearly identify what happened. There's a history like right there. So for you to sit here and say, because when I see that person that's not white, but that's light skinned, that motherfucker is Hispanic. Like there's pictures, there's evidence. And crazy legs, like I don't know what you're talking about. Now, I hope they're not thinking just because you didn't see that many
MCs.
Rappers, MCs.
but they still contributed to the culture.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know if you are agree with me. I
don't.
don't know if you are agree with me, but what I'm saying is like in this topic, the way I see it as a historian is that actually hip hop cannot be contributed to any race because hip hop is
Attributed.
Huh?
Attributed is the word. Cannot be attributed to any.
No,
race.
to any race.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I think it was like a social political event that was going on. Like you was saying before, the burning bronze, the homeless, unemployment things going on, or everything at the in the city. And I think the gangs activity, I think that all that create the atmosphere to the people like transition from all those problems to create something to fight against that, which was an art form called hip hop.
Right.
But I think that a lot of ethnic people, different ethnics like Puerto Rican, Jamaicans, Afro Americans, even white people, I would say, they get together and form this big.
Yeah, I mean everybody
culture.
influenced, right? But if you ask me, just my opinion, I would say, forget it. Okay, look, man. Whether you Haitian, Jamaican, Guyanese, whatever, let's call that group black.
Yes.
Whether you Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, let's say that's Hispanic. So if you ask me, hip hop was created and contributed by blacks and Hispanics.
Yes.
And now globally, you have Russian rappers, you have, obviously English rappers, you have Asian rappers. Cool, they adding their vibe, they doing it, they borrowing from us and they doing their own vibe of it. But hip hop as we know it was created by black and brown. Period. There's no question about it. I don't give a fuck.
That's great. Okay, we have to finish. That's very sorry for the audience because this has been a very great podcast of history, of the things that coming up in your career, Fugees stories. You talk about everything, man, and we are very grateful for your visit here.
Honored.
in Backstage Studio. Arembo, Prado, Ferdy, Aldo's not with us today, but he's part of the panel too. He's in vacation. So thanks also to the production team, all you guys, the Dominic, Republic Dominic and Ecuador too in the house. Here's hip hop.
Right.
Here's hip hop.
Cultural mix.
Yes, that's it. I want to finish. I have to finish like this. I need a verse of you, like the best iconic verse of you. I want to finish like that, man. I don't know if I'm telling you, like,
Actually, I don't want to hear his best verse.
Favorite.
I want to hear his favorite hip hop verse from his favorite hip hop artist, other than Fugees, which is better.
Oh, my favorite artist of all time.
All time, your favorite verse.
Oh, there's too many of them, man. and listen, I have a lot of favorite hip hop artists. If you talking about like, my favorite top 5, for example, I just love the music. You know what I mean? So I couldn't sit here and tell you
This is my
one
favorite
person's
one.
better. This, you know, they're all great. You know, at what they've done. Now, obviously, clearly, I think that you have what you call, in my opinion, what I think is, I would say, best MCs. You know, best rappers, and I would put Biggie in that. If I was to have a top 5, I would put Biggie in there. I would put Pac in there. I would put Nas, and people define hip hop differently, right? So it's kind of like clearly, if you're talking about pure cocaine lyrics, no other powder added to this,
Not
brick.
diluted.
No dilution at all. Pac cannot fuck with Biggie, obviously. But Pac hip hop records was poetry in motion, right? Biggie just lyrically, his cadence, it was just what it is. You see what I'm saying to you? So, and you can have these arguments with a bunch of different artists, whatever. But clearly, you know, again, you know, like Nas, incredible MC, you know what I'm saying to you? So yeah, so I don't have one particular, like, oh, I love this. You know, obviously I love Notorious B.I.G. to death. It's probably one of my favorite artists, you know, but just as much as I love him, I love Snoop. I love Andre 3000.
Yes.
Right? I love Scarface. Cool G Rap. I mean, there's some great, Big Daddy Kane. You see what I'm saying? There's some great, you know. Listen,
Eminem?
Eminem is, I love Eminem, but I have a different take about Eminem. You know what I mean? But I love Eminem.
Okay.
You know, he's definitely, you know, the problem, I think.
Eminem's like Suchi.
You say sushi?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah, no, it's like a different taste. They're like not.
No, it's not a different taste. What he's definitely, look, lyrically he's insane, but he's definitely different from what we know, right? We're accustomed to it, obviously, because there's nothing like him at all out there ever, right? So I think that put him in a whole different box. But then you have a lot of question that comes along with it. Also, it's like, is it unfair for him the way some of us judge him because of his race?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying too? So there's a debate about, well, if he wasn't white, would I love him the same way or would I give him more love? You see what I'm saying to you? So I think that's unfair to him. But if you ask me personally what I think of him, I love him. You know what I'm saying? I think he's great at what he does. I would say he's a great lyricist, you know. So yeah, man, that's why I say it's tough.
Right.
You know, like I got one of his records that's like one of my favorite records of his, you know what I mean? But that's just me, you know what I'm saying to you? So I can't say that he's not in that conversation. He obviously is, you know. Again, there's just too many, man. I'm just a fan of, see, here's the problem with me also. I'm a fan of hip hop and I'm a fan of music, right? And so those are two different things. There are people who are just fans of hip hop and that's it. And there are people who are just fan of music, that's it. But
You're both.
I'm both, meaning like I could sit here and like my playlist is great. Like, dude, let me tell you something. Like, if I'm dating someone or a girl will come over, you vibe and whatever, I'll put on my playlist, and I swear to God, every girl always be like, "Who created this playlist again?"
Put some Tyrone Davis.
My shit will go from Mark Anthony to fucking Dolly Parton to Kenny Rogers to Bad Bunny
Luther Vandross.
Yeah, yo, my shit is crazy, man. It'll be, you'll hit
I can relate to
Queen.
that.
I'll be sure.
I can relate to that.
No, I don't go like that. But you know, no, listen, it'll have listen, my shit is all over the spectrum because I'm a music lover.
We can't. I want to finish, man. Sorry.
So I know we got.
I want to finish. Excuse me, you guys. I want to finish. You guys consider like J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, like a hip hop singer, or you guys like doesn't like consider her like hip hop. I don't know. This is
When you
because
say guys, what do you mean?
because she
When you say you guys, you talking about me specifically or people in general?
no
Hip hop culture.
yeah hip hop culture like
I mean,
we can say it like
listen. She's what do you call that? An honorary
Member.
member,
oh God.
Okay.
right? But she's not like Mary J. Blige.
Oh,
Hip-
Right.
Now, but I would say this to you. Listen. Obviously, Jennifer Lopez is a mega superstar, right? And so what happens is when you get to that level, there's certain things that just kind of like
Okay.
dissipate from you.
Yeah.
Remember, J-Lo started out as a
Backup dancer.
for In Living Color. She was a fly girl dancer,
Yes.
right? So she's from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying
Right.
to you? Now, obviously, you get to a level where now every time you move, it's like you move like a president. You know what I'm saying to you? She
Right.
has like 20 people she move around. So your purview become 40,000 feet instead of 4,000 feet.
Right.
Right. So, but J-Lo is an honorary. You know what I'm saying to you? I think she's. I mean, clearly now she's what it is, right?
Right.
But
I can't go. Excuse me, Verdi. I can't go without your five. You told before, like, if I tell my five favorite artists, like, can you tell me the five woman artists, like
Female
in the
artists?
female artists in the history, like how
hip hop or
yeah, no hip hop,
or hip hop. Female artists.
female artists.
Yeah, I mean that's not that hard. It's not that many of them.
Right.
It's
Mary
only
J.
been like 20. Hip hop, like rap or R&B.
Hip
Hip-hop,
hop,
hip-hop.
hip hop.
I'm gonna have to definitely put Lauryn Hill in the top. Obviously, clearly.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna put Kim. I'm gonna put Foxy. I'm gonna put. I gotta put Nicki, man.
Yeah.
I love
Monster.
Nicki's a beast.
One last spot.
And one last spot. I gotta pay homage to old school, man. So I'm gonna have to put, just cause I gotta pay homage to the pioneers. MC Light.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yes, he's a beast. Yo, you said when you
Well,
go.
I'm gonna put. Can I do it? Two top five. MC Light, Latifah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Cause Latifah was, man. Go listen to early Latifah, man.
Bring up New Year's Eve.
Right. So I know you're all about journeys. I know you're a journey person. You know, you look more at the journey than the end or the goal. And you've been through a lot in your life. You've experienced a lot in many different things. I'm curious to know, what is the worst advice you've ever received?
The worst advice I ever received always been the one where I be like, the fuck are you talking about? There's been a lot of bad advices, man. It's just what it is, because you know why? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them, man.
Sometimes you goes like, why he give me that advice? This motherfucker tried to
because
set me up.
let me say this to you real quick. When you're going through your journey, it's like when people say, I'm going to a therapist, right? You know what makes a great therapist? They tell you everything that you already know, right? So when you're going through a journey, and it's like, especially, people who have achieved greatness, okay? Now, you could have people that give you advice, like, man, I don't know if you should do it like this, if you do it like that. But if you already achieved some level of greatness, it's kind of like, what kind of advice you gonna give someone? You see what I'm saying too? Now that doesn't mean I haven't had people say to me, man, you should maybe go this way or you should go this way. That's more of like a strategic thing,
Right.
right? Like for example, my boy came to me, actually my mom, when I told my mom I was doing, she don't listen to reggaeton, she listens to Phil like that. But I was like, I'm because I felt good telling my mom, and then there's an election in Venezuela, so like my aunts and them are heavy into that. So I'm like, I'm doing like a Spanish. You don't say reggaeton. I'm doing like a Spanish record. My aunt said, Yo, whatever you do, man, let's make sure I can understand what the fuck you're saying.
I want to know what you're talking about.
Yo,
That's dope.
That was dope.
you said about J-Lo that when you are that big, but you got to do different things and it gets like watered down. But you've been there. You've been that big.
Not J-Lo big.
You were huge. You were
No, we
everywhere.
were huge, but J-Lo's a mega.
I'm trying to give you a compliment. I'm trying to tell you
I
that
appreciate
you
it.
never watered down your music.
Well,
you never watered down
It's
your
different because I don't have a glam squad. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you said something very interesting about the reggaeton artists, and we got to go. You like how, you know, we were talking about LL Cool J, how they done, how they did. They'll do a great love record and then do a street record.
Mm-hmm.
You know why is that? Because the Latin culture accepts that. Where in hip hop, there's this thing about the machoism. Like, if you gangster, you can only be gangster. If you sing rap, you can only sing rap, right? It's like this stigma in this culture, hip hop culture, that's so crazy. Now clearly it's starting to kind of like dissipate. But what I'm saying to you is, a lot of people, once they get to a certain level, they can't see below. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like talking to a CEO of a company. Like right here, you in Puerto Rico, right? Like, some people in the government don't really understand the struggle of what's going on in these streets. They can't comprehend it. It doesn't make sense to them. It's like, because they're so far up, right? It's very seldomly that you find people that's able to kind of like bridge the gap. You know what I mean? And so it's just hard. And this is not to take anything away from J-Lo, because she's brilliant. I love what she is. She's a superstar, right? But would I say she's Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey? Fuck no, she's not. But she doesn't have to.
Right.
Not everybody needs to be that.
Right.
Right? It's just what it is. If she felt in her heart, by the way, why would J-Lo care about the Bronx?
Exactly.
She's in Hollywood. For what? It's not going to do absolutely nothing for her, because the hardcores in the Bronx don't even want to hear that. They want to hear, who's the hardest Spanish Latin chick right now?
Cardi B.
Well,
Carly.
yeah, Cardi B. Yeah, that's what they want to hear.
Shit right there.
Hardcore. And unless you willing to go, unless you naturally there, because if she try to be street, people gonna see right through it, because they know you're not really trying to be. Like, I could go in the hood. I can listen. Let me tell you something. I can go stay at the Ritz, and I can go stay at a motel. Now, I don't stay in motels, but I'm saying if I had to,
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I could be comfortable because I'm just that motherfucker.
Right.
But there are people, they get to a certain place and they've been there for so long,
Right.
they can't fathom the idea of like less than where they are.
Right.
You know, and I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just who
What it
they
is.
are. And especially when you're a woman, bro. It's like, it's that much more difficult. It's about security. It's about your glam squad. She gets up in the morning. She got to look a certain way. She can't even make a phone call unless she looks a certain way.
And they have the nerve to call us ugly. That's
Yo,
crazy.
but you guys, no matter how big you are, you being about the street, about the hoods, about the Caribbean, about your people, about the culture, and you never change. The three of you.
I can't speak for the other two. That also because I travel to places that I've been kidnapped in Somalia. I've been in Yemen when they blew up the embassy. I've been to North Korea. I've been to Abu Dhabi. To Baku. I've been to Armenia. I've been to Iran. I've been to like Africa. I've been to the Caribbean. So I naturally, you know, I'm an empath, and I connect with the culture. I connect with the streets. Again, would I go live in those conditions? Thank God I don't have to. Right? You know, I'm wearing $100,000 watch. Like, it's just the lifestyle. But at the same time, I know how to adapt, because that's who I am innately in my DNA.
Right.
Some people, that's not what they are. Once they leave that situation in their mind, they don't ever want to come back there to remind them of how difficult. Because listen, when you're not there, man, it's a difficult place, man. It's tough, man. Like 12 eggs cost like $10 in New York City.
That's
It's cheaper
crazy.
to go buy a chicken, a whole chicken, than to buy the whole 12 eggs.
That's
That's
crazy.
true.
That is
That's true.
crazy.
That's the way we live in. That's
It's,
true.
crazy.
it's tough out here, man. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, when they get out, they don't want to be reminded of. For me, it keeps me grounded. It also shows me how fortunate
Humbles
I
you.
am. Yeah, it humbles me. I'm fortunate, dude. No matter what I'm going through, I may complain. Yo, I didn't like the way I gotta order the color of this car right here. I don't like this. Bro, at the end of the day, all of this showed me I'm so fortunate, bro. Period. I'm grateful just to be sitting here talking to you guys.
All right, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Listen, we appreciate
I
you.
appreciate
we
you.
appreciate your having some time with us. This has been a real treat. You know, I'm speaking for all the guys. This has been an amazing opportunity for us. So thank you again for being here with your crew, with everybody, man. It's been a blessing for us as well. So everybody, a round of applause here for Pras. This has been an amazing podcast. Everybody subscribe and we'll see you on the next one. Esto fue Base y Fundamento.
Hablando de skills. Hablando de skills. Aquí en Base y Fundamento te voy a decir lo que tú mereces.